When I first crossed paths with Alina, I truly believed I had met the woman I would spend my life beside. We met during our university days. She was studying design, and I was majoring in business. Her laughter, her ambition, and that unshakable independence she carried pulled me in instantly. We began dating, and before long, my life started to revolve around hers. I helped her with her projects, gave her rides to late-night classes, and stood by her whenever doubt crept in. Back then, I thought love was all about sacrifice. After graduation, I threw myself into work, putting in long hours to secure a future for both of us. Alina had trouble finding something steady, so I told her not to worry. I'd handle the bills until she found her place. But months became years, and my income turned into our only safety net. She started wanting more, a nicer apartment, better clothes, weekend getaways, and I did my best to give her everything she asked for. I honestly believed she deserved it all, even if it meant putting my own goals aside. Things began to shift after she landed her dream job at a creative agency. At first, I was proud of her. She had finally achieved the independence she'd always wanted. But soon, her attitude toward me changed. She started coming home late, claiming exhaustion. She criticized how I dressed, how I worked, even the way I spoke. The admiration that once shone in her eyes was replaced by irritation. One evening, I decided to surprise her, a quiet dinner to celebrate her first big project. I cooked her favorite meal and waited. She came home 2 hours late, not with an apology, but with an annoyed expression. When I gently asked what was wrong, she sighed and said, "You wouldn't understand. You don't live in my world anymore." Those words cut deep. That night, I realized the distance between us had grown far beyond repair. In the weeks that followed, we barely spoke. She started spending more time out with her colleagues, and whenever I asked if something was wrong, she would just shrug it off. Then, one night at dinner, the silence became unbearable. I finally asked, "Alina, do you still want this? Do you still want us?" She didn't even pause. Looking straight at me, she said, "I don't want to be with you." Her words hit like a blow to the chest. I felt everything collapse. All the sacrifices, the sleepless nights, the quiet moments of faith. Somehow, I managed to stay calm and asked, "So, what happens now?" She replied coldly, "You can still support me financially until I move out. I'm not stable yet." Something inside me hardened at that moment. I looked her in the eye and said softly, "If I no longer have a place in your heart, then my wallet closes too. You can't reject love and still expect support." She froze, maybe out of shock. For the first time, she had nothing to say. The days that followed were tense. She packed slowly, perhaps hoping I had changed my mind. But I didn't. I had spent years giving endlessly, believing love could grow from sacrifice. But love without respect isn't love at all. It's dependence disguised as affection. When she finally left, the apartment felt heavy, yet strangely peaceful. I won't pretend it was easy. The silence was suffocating at times, and seeing her empty chair at breakfast was hard. But slowly, I began to rediscover myself. I started reading again, reconnected with old friends, and finally chasing the business idea I had put off for so long. Every small step reminded me that my value didn't depend on someone else's validation. Months later, I heard she was struggling. Her new job hadn't worked out, and she'd moved back in with her parents. For a moment, I thought about reaching out, but I stopped myself, not out of bitterness, but because I knew that helping her again would only pull us back into the same unhealthy pattern. She needed to find her own strength, just as I had found mine. Looking back, I understand now that love can't survive on pity or one-sided effort. It requires balance. Two people lifting each other, not one always carrying the weight. I learned that truth through heartbreak, but it made me stronger, wiser, and more grounded in my own worth. A year later, I met someone new. She didn't need my money or my protection, only my honesty and my time. Together, we built something real, something steady. It wasn't born out of dependence, but mutual understanding. For the first time, I loved without fear of being used. Sometimes, I still think of Alina, not with anger, but with gratitude. She taught me that self-respect is worth more than blind devotion. When I told her, then don't expect my support, I wasn't being cruel. I was simply choosing myself. And that choice changed everything.